Hello and welcome to Tech Gets Real. I'm David Mayer, and it's nice to be back after a few weeks off, although I'm not going to lie, it was a really lovely vacation. My family and I took a road trip through northern France. We visited Normandy and Brittany, and they are absolutely beautiful. I've never been there before. Everything was, however, much drier than it should have been and browner. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to talk about AI in this episode. It's part of the subject matter. And the episode is not about AI's climate impact, but nonetheless, this has been an absolutely terrifying summer in Europe in the sense that we've had the series of heat waves that have killed tens of thousands of people. And at the moment, a lot of the AI services we use are fueled by dirty fuel that is contributing to the warming of the world. So that's going to be a topic of another video at some point. But nonetheless, I just thought it would be wrong to proceed with the subject matter without mentioning that. So there you go. The actual topic of this week's episode is the devices that are connected to the internet or to your computer, to your network, that have firmware in them that needs to be kept updated to stop them becoming buggy and insecure. And often manufacturers don't do this updating enough. And in some cases, they even abandon these devices. They decide that they're no longer going to continue with that line of products, or the manufacturer gets sold and the company that buys them doesn't want to do that hard work, or simply they want you to buy a new product. So they stop updating the old one in the hope that you'll get annoyed enough to buy a new one. Obviously, this has an environmental aspect to it as well, because a lot of these devices end up in the trash. And hopefully you're throwing away your old electronics in the e-waste, so some of the materials can be recovered and recycled. But a lot of old electronics don't get thrown out that way. You end up with toxic chemicals leaching into the ground, which is a bad thing. And obviously, there is also the environmental impact of manufacturing new things. So there's that aspect to it as well as the impact on your wallet. So I'm going to talk about a couple of incoming laws that may improve this situation. But first, I read a really interesting blog post a few days ago by an Amazon security engineer named Chaz Schlab. And he has been using AI, specifically Anthropic's Claude, I think the Opus version of that AI, to reverse engineer peripherals that he attaches to his computer. And he's been discovering that this is scarily, very scarily easy to do. Now, we're not talking about a situation where anybody can go to an AI and say, here's this model of webcam or monitor or whatever, hack it for me, show me how to attack somebody else. We're not there yet, although maybe soon. This guy is a security professional, and he gave it a series of prompts as it went through the process. But nonetheless, as he explains in his blog post, which I'm linking to in the description, by the way, as I always do, as he explains, this is the sort of capability that you previously would have associated with some kind of state-aligned hacker, serious professional stuff. And it is much, much easier to do now than it was before. And that means a lot of these peripherals and devices are becoming incredibly insecure. So, for example, he's got an Insta360 webcam that has a green light that displays when it's recording, as these things typically do for privacy reasons. And he managed to get Claude to write new firmware for the thing that disables the green light when it's recording. Similarly, he has a Shure microphone that also connects via USB, and that has mute functionality. He managed to get Claude to make new firmware for it that would disable this functionality when you might think that it was muted. Obviously, huge privacy implications for both of those. Similarly, he managed to get Claude to write new firmware for his Asus monitor that would, in theory, he didn't implement it because he didn't want to break the monitor. In theory, it would take away a piece of functionality that was really annoying him. And he also got it to write new firmware for his Elgato Lite, which one would use for streaming. That particular device actually had more security protecting a firmware update than any of these other devices, but nonetheless, he was able to get around it very easily, again, using the AI. So all of this is obviously very, very scary. But the flip side to this is, and I'll just quote from the blog post here, This is incredible for interoperability and fixing things that don't work how we want them to. Hardware is almost universally open for tinkering at this point, with just a couple hours of mostly hands-off, machine-driven labor each. And I look forward to a near future where I can add features to my webcam firmware as easily as I can to software that runs on my Linux machine itself. Now, it's not that you necessarily have to have AI to do this kind of stuff. Again, it's just about making it a lot easier to do. Another interesting development in the last couple of weeks was the reviving of Spotify's car thing. Now, I had completely forgotten about this, but at the beginning of 2022, Spotify briefly got into the hardware game, releasing a device for older cars that don't have modern in-car entertainment systems with big screens and so on, and it was intended to provide similar functionality, scrolling through songs and playlists and all that kind of stuff. But it was a complete flop, and Spotify pulled it from the market after just a few months. There'd been supply chain problems and a huge lack of demand. And Spotify effectively killed the device a couple of years later, pulling support, which left owners with no choice but to throw it in the trash or put it at the back of their cupboard. And those who put it at the back of their cupboard now have the opportunity to revive it and get it working again, because some enterprising engineer came up with new software for it called Mira, which you can easily install on the thing. Apparently it's a little bit buggy, but it works and provides all kinds of cool functionality for that. Again, I'll put a link to the story and the installation instructions in the description. Lawmakers in some places have also been trying to extend the lifespan of devices. Here in Europe, for several years, we've had something called the Consumer Sales Directive, which means manufacturers selling you gadgets have to provide a legal warranty of at least 2 years. And there's a new law that's just come into effect at the end of July called the Right to Repair Directive. And that extends the warranty to 3 years if the consumer chooses to repair rather than replace the device. So it's trying to encourage repairs. It forces the manufacturer to provide repairs either for free or at a reasonable cost. They have to do it, in a reasonable time frame, and they also have to give people easily accessible information about where to get repairs, and they also have to make spare parts available at a reasonable price as well. And then we have the Cyber Resilience Act, which is part of Europe's big push to make itself more secure. This is a new law that specifically covers internet-connected products, software as well as hardware. And from December 2027, manufacturers will be obliged under this law to provide cybersecurity updates that work for the products that they sell, for the full life cycle of the product. The law talks about a baseline of 5 years, but there was recently guidance from the European Commission. I wrote an article about that, and I'll stick a link in the description as usual, which says it depends on the product. So if we're talking about something that's only supposed to last a couple of years, fine, they don't have to provide security updates for 5 years. But if it's supposed to last longer, like it's some kind of big appliance or something like that, that is smart and connected to the internet, then yes, they do have to keep that secure for the full life cycle. So all of this is very good news for the continued functionality of the gadgets that people buy. But again, we're talking about the end of next year when these obligations come into play. And as discussed earlier, AI is now making it far easier for people to hack into and change the functionality of internet-connected devices. That's already happening now. Security experts are anticipating basically security Armageddon in the coming months as AI becomes more capable and people start using it for more nefarious things. So that may be rather late. Love to hear your thoughts on that. Please leave a comment below. Also like and subscribe. It helps the channel. And I'll see you next week.